Here's Bailey. She had a bath yesterday and her hair is so soft. I don't know what they use, but oh my goodness, it's so soft. And I like to pet her and she likes to be petted. And last night she slept in the house because she's clean and I think she liked it. She woke up happy. We'd also bought her like a couple more like bigger chew toys and she loves her chew toys. She likes to come show us her chew toys in her mouth and like, hey, look at what I got, you know. She's like a big kid. Yeah. Yeah, last night she slept over by the bed. And
She has his own bed.
She has her own little bed over there. Yeah, she did good. I think it's the second time she slept in the house.
In the bedroom.
The last time was like when she had her, she got fixed and we kept her in the living room and I slept on the couch and it was a nightmare. But last night, I mean, every once in a while, like I would wake up and I would see she would, like when she would sit up and just kind of look at us and then go back to sleep. Yeah, so she did good last night. I'm very happy with it. It's very different having one dog instead of two. The house is much calmer. I can pet her and I feel calm when I pet her. Before, when I would pet her, Bosco would come running, or if I was petting Bosco, she would come running and want to be petted too. And you're trying to pet two dogs and it's just not calming. You know, this is calming. This is what having a pet should be like. Yeah, I hope Bosco's getting the same treatment at his new home. We went to what seems like a really good family. They had 3 kids and a big yard. It sounded like he had a couple acres to go run around on. Yeah, we brought her to the vet the other week, and she weighed in at 107 pounds. Doctor says she needs to lose weight. He graded, like on a scale of 1 to 10, he, like on obesity scale, he graded her as a 7. Meaning that like it's really hard to feel her ribs, but you can feel them. 8 was like, you really can't feel their ribs, and like 9 was just round. So she's not round. And also I cut back on her food because now she's inside the house almost all day, to like maybe 4 cups of food if she eats that. She was eating about, well, I was giving out 2 bowls of 7 cups each, I'll give out 4 cups in the morning in each bowl and then 3 cups in the evening in each bowl, because we had 2 dogs. But Bosco wasn't eating much, so I think Bailey was eating her 7-cup portion per day plus some of Bosco's. She was probably eating about 9 to 10 cups of food a day, and now she's eating about 4. So yeah, and that kind of started to happen right around winter time. Bosco had kind of slowed down on his eating, and he remained kind of thin, like you could see his ribs in certain lighting conditions. So he wouldn't have been called obese, but she ate the rest and she gained some poundage quickly. Doctor said she probably needs to be around 90 pounds or so for her size, for her height and everything. So, but she lost some weight because like her collar, like when I brought her to the vet, I had to reset it because it didn't fit around her neck, you know. And so when we brought her to PetSmart the other day to get her washed, the collar was very loose. So she's been losing some weight pretty good. I don't think she's hungry because the food bowl is out and she's not eating it. There's still some food in there. But I'll put like 2 cups in the morning and another 2 cups in the evening. If you're wondering where Bosco's at, we found him a new home. I put an ad on Craigslist a while back, and kind of for both of them, set a minimum price of $500, you know, to get a entry barrier, you know, because I don't want the dogs going to a home that can't afford to have them. Big dogs are expensive, especially when it comes to like their heartworm medication, which once a month, you know, their food, they kind of eat a lot of food sometimes, and treats and toys and all that other stuff. You know, I want the dogs to be treated a certain way if they're not at our house, because they're great dogs. I mean, but the reason why we want to find them a new home is that we were just getting aggravated with everything about them. You couldn't really pet them because you had to pet both. We couldn't train them because if you tried to put a collar around Bailey, Bosco would come running and trying to bite your hand off. What else? The house stunk. Wifey didn't like it. I mean, the house just full of hair and just stunk. I mean, you can get them washed at like PetSmart where they come out smelling real clean and coconutty or whatever, and within 2 days the house stunk. And that's keeping them inside, you know, during the summer, and the house still stunk. And so what we found is like somebody just wanted Bosco, and like he was kind of the hit, I guess, because he was bigger, and with the way I described him, he was just a lot more calm, because Bailey's kind of high strung a little bit high strung. And so yeah, people kept asking about Bosco, and they either wanted him for free or would only want to pay $300. I had the price set at $500. I'm like, no, if you can't afford the $300, you can't afford to have the dog. And then there was one lady, oh, my Labrador just died, and then she's like, well, you take $300 for Bosco. I'm like, no. And she's like, okay, well then I'll go get a puppy then. And I looked up puppies on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Puppies are $800. So if she should have bought Bosco and already had him fixed and all the shots and grown up food, you know, to where he's starting to eat less. Because puppies eat a lot to get to this size, you know. It was just an expense. And then boarding them, I mean, it's per dog. It isn't per kennel. They share, like every time I boarded them, they shared a kennel, and it's still per dog. So $60 a dog for a large breed like this times 2 per night. You know, it ended up being sometimes more than our hotel stay for that trip, because we would bring them to the boarding place a day before and pick them up the day after we got back from our trip. So they're just kind of expensive. So, but so far since Bosco has been in his new home, Bailey has been a delight. She's fairly calm. But she wants to be petted all the time. You can see she's grabbing onto my leg, wanting to be petted. But it's nice because I can pet her, and when I pet her, I start to feel calm. I calm down myself. So I'm liking this much more than what our situation was before. And if somebody would have picked Bailey to bring to their home, I would have been fine with that. And we would have kept Bosco. It was just, we didn't know what the situation was going to lead to. Because, I mean, it was starting to cause arguments in the home, and Braden would just stay upstairs. He was scared of being around both dogs. Now he comes down a little bit more often. He could kind of handle Bailey by himself now. But yeah, it's a completely different vibe inside the house now with just one dog. Just to kind of save you some of the frustration, when you're getting dogs, don't get siblings from the same litter. I don't know if it was like littermate syndrome, which it didn't seem like it when I read about it. But just having two dogs the same age that are wanting the same, like if they see one dog have something, they're jealous and want to have the same thing, you know. So like being petted was the main thing. We really couldn't pet either one of them. Training was difficult because one dog would disturb the other. And then like with our son, we have a 5-year-old, and he's really hyper, much more than I ever was, or I think my wife ever was too. And mixing that with two large hyper dogs is not fun. The house gets very loud, stuff gets broken, tears come from the boy, for sure, sometimes, and because like the dogs don't know when to quit and the boy doesn't know when to quit, so and then we start yelling at him, and but it just, yeah, it just wasn't fun. So yeah, if you go to buy dogs and you want two of them, make sure they're different ages, they're not from the same litter. That way each dog has a different goal for what they want every day. And so the family that came pick up Bosco, like when they rang the doorbell, was just the husband, and he was very shy, and he was like, oh, can I bring my family in? I'm like, sure, that would be great. That way we saw how they interacted with Bosco before I let Bosco go with them. The guy was like a good old country boy, and he had two of his children with him. I think there was like a 3-year-old and like a 1.5-year-old or something, and they, like, because they said the 3-year-old was scared of dogs, and he let Bosco lick him on the face. So that was good. And it was nice just to see the whole, like, pretty much the whole family there. They have another 9-year-old that stayed at home, and it was going to be a surprise for her because they told her they would never have another pet. So yeah, that I think Bosco would be a big surprise because he was huge. I would think he probably weighed 120 pounds or so when they picked him up, and I told him that he would probably weigh like a little bit less than 90. And the guy actually had to pick him up into the back of his pickup truck because Bosco doesn't jump. He doesn't jump on anything. He doesn't poke his nose through doors. He doesn't go anywhere he's not supposed to be. And so the guy was like, jump, like to get him to jump in the back of the truck. And I was like, Bosco doesn't jump. You're going to have to pick his butt up. And the guy was straining. And he had this little tiny crate in the back of his truck. I mean, he could probably fit like maybe a small border collie or something. Like, it would be a tight squeeze for that. I don't know why he thought Bosco would fit in that. And I looked at him like, he ain't gonna fit. It's like, yeah. So he tied him, like, he kind of hooked him up to one of the tie downs in the back of his bed. So, and when he left, I saw Bosco laying down. And on trips, like, usually Bosco just lays down in the back of our Suburban. So I think they had a good trip. I didn't receive any calls about him, so I think everything's probably good on his side. Yeah, and like we're just being honest with ourselves about having two dogs. Like, there's no way we could handle that. And then we really want to make sure we did right by the dogs, because the dogs came from my stepbrother. Him and his wife raises Labradors, so we wanted to make sure that he found a really good home. Something that my family would have found for him anyways. And then the other thing is, like, for some weird reason, the smell went away in the house. The hair pretty much went away in the house. And for the past 2 weeks, other than when it rained, we kept Bailey outside like we normally did when Bosco was here too. But Bailey, like, she doesn't have a smell to her now. Like, the first couple days after Bosco left, she still smelled a little bit, but it wasn't as bad. But I can't imagine that Bosco smelled that bad and made the house full of that hair. I think that having the two dogs like that, I think that's the reason why I'm kind of hesitant to say that they didn't have litter mate syndrome, is because of all the hair, the smell, just everything. It just kind of just made the house feel nasty. So, yeah, I mean, you can see we have dog beds here in the living room, but these have been out for over a week now, unwashed, and the house just doesn't smell. It isn't like we got used to the smell. It just went away. Yeah, and the reason why we got the 2 dogs is when I went to pick, like, we originally just wanted Bailey, the chocolate lab, and when I got there at my stepbrother's house, it's like Bosco was still there and no one claimed them yet, and they were just too cute. And we had already kind of discussed it before I got there, but like we were like, if he's still there, call me and we'll discuss it real quick to see if we want him to. And so, and like even stepbrother's wife was like, hey, you should get 2. I think it was just bad advice, you know, just don't get 2 from the same litter. It's bad. But yeah, there was hair all over the house, and it just stunk. And when Bosco was here, Bailey stunk too. She smelled. She had an odor. But now Bosco's gone. There's no odor. So I'm thinking that they stopped having whatever kind of secretion from the anxiety went away, because now they're alone, and it's just better for everybody. You know, I mean, I think that's the real truth of it. Like, having only 1 large dog in your house is better for everybody. Yeah, so we don't have any regrets with our experience with having 2 large dogs like that. We're sharing our experience to make sure that no one else makes that same mistake. Yeah, like we liked the time that we had with Bosco. He was a very chill dog. And especially when you could get him alone, like it was just very calm to pet him and just to kind of play with him a little bit and train him. Like, he was easily trainable. So that's good. But yeah, and we're loving our experience now. Like, it went from an experience of like, it's okay, but like we can't tolerate this in our house, to, hey, this is really nice just having 1. So that, I mean, that's what we should have done in the first place, and not fell for the cuteness of little tiny Labrador puppies. Yeah, even the first night, like I went to pick him up from Louisiana. When we got home here in Metro Atlanta, Georgia, it was time to go to bed, and so wifey, she just pulled them, like they were crying, like we had set them up in Braden's old crib. And they were crying a little bit, so Grace just pulled them into our bed, and we all slept happily for that first night in our bed. But we have no regrets of our experience, and I think we're better for it. So, because now we know what to do next time, and we know what to tell people about getting puppies. Like for transport, how do you transport 2 large dogs? You can't do it in this little Volkswagen Jetta. You could only fit 1 of them in that back seat. We have a Suburban, but when we go places, we always have stuff in the back of the Suburban. So you can't, like, if you just want to, like, if we want to go to our property in Cedartown, and I'm working on stuff that day, and I have all my equipment in the back, there's no room to put a dog. So the times we did go, that's times where I just didn't bring anything, and we were able to fit both of them back there. But now with 1, I can still carry some stuff and still have room for Bailey, because we fold up one of the seats and there's enough room on the floor for her. But yeah, I mean, you have to have space for these things. If it was a tiny lap dog, that's a different story. You can put them on your lap and go ride around and bring them wherever you want. But now that we have just Bailey, now I see us bringing her more places than what we did in the past, which is nice, you know. It's like, hey, if we want to go to the park, we can just throw in there, and with whatever I have still in the Suburban, just go. I don't have to try to make room or take out half of my equipment to make room for her. If it was her and Bosco, yeah, you're just always having to remove almost everything out the back of there for them to fit comfortably. Yeah, so we found Bosco another home. They're coming to pick him up today, so I put in a little bit of food for them. Have his canned food, some a few rawhide treats, the other wilderness stuff, pretty much half that, and also some milk bones. He likes milk bones and these. The rawhides, I didn't give him very many. That's more of a Bailey thing. She likes the rawhides. Got all his paperwork together over here. Got all his stuff, all the stuff for his chip, and all the paperwork from the vet. Oh my goodness, he stepped on the... Stay there, stay there. Squeegee you off. What's a tail? Hey, come on. Stay there.
Oh.
We got mommy wet, huh? Yeah, so today is the first whole day where Bailey was alone, without Bosco being in the house. And like for the most part of the day, until probably about 3 o'clock or so, her ears were just always pulled back, like she was nervous about something. She searched around for Bosco. She tried playing with one of the toys. There's like a tug toy that's outside, and like she picked it up and kind of shook it, and she dropped it and like ran around it, but you know, she couldn't play with it like with Bosco there, so she stopped playing with that. But she's been very kind of calm all day long, not really jumping. There's been a big swing in the energy in the house. Braden's not really scared to come down here anymore, because before with Bailey and Bosco, he was scared because he had two large dogs coming after him wanting to lick him and play with him. But now it's just Bailey, so I think he feels like he's better. He can better manage one large dog and not two. And I took a nap on the sofa, and she slept right by my side on the floor the entire time. And I could see her dreaming and like paws shaking and stuff. And so yeah, it's a bit different around the house and just seeing her. But this after like the past couple hours, it's what 6:30 right now. I just put her in her bedroom, and the past couple hours she just like her ears kind of fell back into like the normal Labrador position, and she just seems happy. She's I don't know. She probably accepted the fact that Bosco was at someone else's house, you know, so somewhere else, not here, you know. But like when I went in the closet earlier today, I just let her follow me back there, and she just follows, looking around, sniffing things, and yeah, so she seems a little different. We'll just keep an eye on her for the next few days, see what happens. And she has a vet appointment tomorrow, so yeah. But she didn't eat. I guess she ate okay. She probably ate about 5 scoops of food, maybe, about, plus the half of a can of the wet food. So yeah, so I guess her appetite's okay. Um, but yeah, so we'll just keep an eye on her, see what happens.